She's coming, I think. She's a little bit.
All right, so,
What's her name?
Patricia.
So we're gonna call the meeting to order and do our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did I screw up or you screwed up?
I don't know, somebody should have. I'll take fault.
Okay,
Hi.
we'll do an opening prayer. We'll pray that Patricia's made it here safe and sound. Dear Heavenly Father, bless us in the meeting that we're about to commence. Watch over us and guide us to make the right decisions for our community and the people that live here. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. Roll call. Paul Reardon here. Mark Bennett here. Phil Stearns.
Here.
Robert Fuller.
Yep.
David Smith.
Yep.
Steve Rhodes.
Here.
Okay, everybody's here. Additions to monthly agenda, if any. I missed the last meeting. Is there any additions anybody wants to add?
No.
Okay, moving right along. For approval of January 12th minutes.
I make a motion.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Meeting minutes approved. Okay. Financial report.
We wrote 13 checks for a total of $13,667.35. That left us a balance of $4,190.50 in the checking account. At that time, we had $232,360.28, and we had a money market of interest paid of $1.98. Since this report came out, I have transferred money into the checking account, so we're back up to around $15,000. Like to have approval to pay the bills.
Second.
Motion to pay the bills approved.
Just on, just for the record, this month is like our biggest month. We pay our annual property liability insurance, so that's about $8,000. So that is the total of the big bills for the year. So from now on, it's just maintenance for the rest of the year.
All right, so all in favor? Pay the bills? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, pay the bills. Communications report, we have a communications report. Okay. Public comments on agenda items. Nope. Our public is whispering. No public comments. Okay, so we are on to Chief's report.
January 22, we started off pretty busy for us. We had 29 calls in January. Half of them are medical calls, one structure fire in District 2. We had, I don't know, for some reason, destruction derby going on at Lookingglass. We had 6 vehicle accidents in Lookingglass. No natural cover, 4 lift assists, and 3 false alarms and a hazardous condition call. I'm trying to remember what that was, wire stand. Well, probably
I think there was wire stand.
Yeah.
What was it?
Wire
Wire
stand.
stand.
Just
Oh,
a,
that's right, yeah.
I think they hit a pole. One of the wrecks hit a pole. Knocked the wires down. Training, we do in our annual monthly safety OSHA equipment night. We had CPR recertification for all our guys. That's a recert class. In the future, every other year we do an initial CPR class. So if you guys ever want to do it, we'll just take everybody in that can fit in here and do it.
For the recertification?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fire attack training, we went to the District 2 drill tower. We all drive over there and work on their tower. And then we've been doing rapid intervention team training, which is it's training to remove firefighters that are down or trapped in buildings and stuff. So we've been doing, we got some of our new SCBA equipment was made to be able to supplement the air in our tanks. We can plug into it, take this thing in, and a victim, we can put a mask on, and it's a separate system, or else plug into the tank. So we've been messing with that quite a bit. Firefighters all did their APD CPR. We're planning a regional spring wildland fire drill with us, DFPA and most of the departments in Douglas County, and it's gonna be here in the Lookingglass area. Probably some of it up at the dump, and then there's a couple people on Coos Bay Wagon Road that want us to bring their fields off, so. What happens is they all would stage here, and they'll start some fires, and we'll go rolling in like it's a real fire. And a lot of people get their qualifications signed off and that kind of stuff. And DFP will be in on it also. Explorers participated. Not much on equipment this month. We got a new battery. We fixed the door on the water tender ourselves. It was a $3,000 quote on it, and they never showed up. The factory never showed up. So Jerry Rathje, one of my firefighters, there's a video online on YouTube on how to fix them. So he took it apart, and then we put it back together, and it works good. So we're good. VFA grant invoices, I've submitted them for reimbursement, so we should be getting $9,532 back. The last of the equipment's arrived. Let's see, I met with Cascade Fire. They're going to do some stuff for us here in the future. We're looking at a possible 4 gas monitor for a purchase in 22-23, the next budget cycle. Trying to get a Vista to give us a grant to buy that. They're about $1,000. We already have one, but we were trying to get another one. Since their big natural gas lines go through our area, we've got the issue. Help us out. Our fuel oil is good for the winter so far. We did our OSHA equipment check. So office and admin, there's a SDAO's annual conference is coming up. It's going to be all virtual. I registered for a bunch of classes. If anybody wants to get in on it, it starts this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and they got classes going all day. I mean, if you want to go and sit on a class, I've got the schedule. If anybody's interested, they got some free time. I want to do that. We paid the property liability policy. The website's still up and running. We've been adding some new materials still. We're taking off the winter material. We're going to put some spring stuff up. Got another $5,500 in taxes. So we're up around 90-95% of our tax revenues in for the year. I met with a seismic grant contractor. They came down and took our plans, and then they sent me a digital copy of the plans back, so now we have one for ourselves. And they're going to bring the real ones back Friday. I'm going to meet with another one of their employees is coming down, and we're going to be doing some non-destructive drilling see how much concrete and rebar is really in the walls and all that kind of stuff this Friday. So the application itself for it went in yesterday, and they want some support letters. So I talked to the county emergency director, Wayne Stinson. He's going to write us a support letter since we're mutual aid partners with the whole county for disaster response and stuff. I'm going to try to get the Grange is going to write me a letter, and maybe the church or other local people just to write us a support letter that we need this facility when something goes wrong. So let's see, the annual state hazmat survey. We have to fill out a survey every year. Any of you guys that have a business probably do that for fuel and all that stuff. We got to do the same on it. We have a FEMA update we have to do, and I got to update it because all you guys are new board members as far as FEMA is concerned, so I got to get your names on that. So if we do get a grant, they'll have the right names to send money to. Let's see, COVID-19. State of Oregon is distributing COVID-19 test kits. We got 90 of them the other day. That's what's left of them. And Tim Freeman himself, the commissioner, came out and distributed them. And what they want is they want them out in the community, everybody to have some. So I gave some to some of the folks here on the board. If anybody else wants to take them. So what they're asking is if somebody has a cold or feels sick, take your test. If it shows positive, stay home. Don't spread it to the community. So I understand that the levels and all this stuff. We had a busy couple of weeks here early in the month and late in January, but it's supposed to be running down a little bit now and slowing down, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, once those kits are gone, we can get 90 more if we need. So, let's see. budget training. The budget, I pulled out the budget calendar. And this will be all your guys' first run through the budget, except for Bill, I think. But yet, we find the budget committee members in March, so we'll be looking, I think I need 1 or 2 this year. And then we'll talk about it a little bit at the April meeting. Then the first meeting is going to be in, usually it's the first Monday of May. And we'll usually have 2 meetings to take care of the budget, hopefully, if everything goes good. And then we have some procedural stuff we have to do. We actually got to get some stuff in the newspaper in April and do a couple other things. So anyway, there's some online budget training available right now. Oh, no, I didn't. You guys, I think I sent it out to you guys last week. The Secretary of State has budget, so they've already done their first class, and so they have it online right now as a PowerPoint, if anybody wants to learn how to do budgets.
Hey, Steve,
It's a 5-part series.
question like, what's our role in the whole budget process? Because like, I went to the meetings last year because
Yeah.
my wife was asked to be on there.
Yeah.
Are we part of that? Are
Yeah.
those same people part of it?
So the budget committee is 10 people, so it's the board plus it's 5 committee members. I'm not part of it, I just create the budget. Usually the treasurer is the budget officer, Bill. And
I basically call roll for the first time and then pick the president and vice president and secretary for the budget committee, and then they take over and run the next 2 meetings.
Gotcha.
it's a pretty, Oregon's really open about budget and stuff, so with that budget committee, even though you guys are elected, the appointed committee that we appoint from the public, they have equal power. Everybody in the committee has the same amount of power and voting power and everything on what should be and shouldn't be approved. And, there's a lot of laws and deadlines and all this kind of stuff, so if any of you ever go to the Secretary of State website and just look at they have online training. This year they're doing it all online. Usually they come down regionally. And it's interesting. It's not the greatest training, but it's just there's a bunch of procedures you have to follow because it's tax money. So, anyway, that's available.
Steve does everything. All you do is show up and listen. And
Well,
say,
yeah,
Yeah, he does such a great job
Get
on the
voted into a
budget.
position for a couple days and then
So
He does such a good job on the budget that we listen and he tells us, he goes page by page, line by line, and everybody says yay, and everybody goes home.
So those budget meetings are outside of regular meetings. So in May we'll have 2 Monday nights additional.
Will we do those at the Grange or?
No, we do it here.
Probably. And, it depends on how.
Go ahead.
I'd like to hold on, on what's going on then. And then we'll have, the budget hearing is before the June meeting, June 6th, so, June, I don't know what time, June 6th. And then we gotta submit all this stuff by July to the state.
One more question. Is it a conflict if my wife still does it, or is that, do you need, now that I'm on the board, I wasn't last year.
I don't think it is, if she doesn't want to, she could use it.
Well, I can
We've
force
had
it, you know, I
years
mean, yeah, it's a,
We've had years where we didn't have enough, and it's okay to run short, but you still have to have the same 6 people still have to vote yes. You still have to have a majority.
oh, okay.
It's, in the past, we've had a hard time getting them sometimes, so that's coming up. Something else is coming up that I didn't have on there. Oh, so there's a risk management training, which is virtual. Do you guys get an SDAO mail at all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
all 280,000 of them.
really? Okay, great. So they got a training coming up on this March. I'm probably gonna watch one. I just got done watching a simple and cheap disaster preparedness training. So we're gonna put that up on our website, just simple things you can do. You don't have to buy a $1,000 first aid kit. You can just, some of the things you should start with. So I watched that one. They got this risk management coming up for the next month or 2. And then the final thing they came out with was the best practices, and we get a 10% discount on our insurance every year if we do on our property liability insurance, which you know, if our bill is $8,500, then it saves us $850. Well, this year they kind of upped it a little bit, so I'll give it to you guys, because they're gonna ask some of our board people to do stuff this year. So, anyway, there's you get 2% credit for each thing. So the first thing, number one, is affiliate organizations. So we're members of the Oregon Fire Chiefs Association, so we automatically get 2% right off of that. And then on the second page, board duties and responsibilities, you get 2% if there's a policy regarding board duties and responsibilities. There happens to be one. We have our bylaws tell what everybody's supposed to do. It may not be current, but we do have an existing one. And then they have a sample one that you might look at it and download it and see. Maybe we can update ours at the same time. And the third one they have this year is a checklist. And they do this every year with a different topic. Last year it was on preparing your facility for winter time. So basically they have a checklist, maybe 50 things, and you go down and do your own survey. So they're gonna, I'm not sure what's on the survey, it's not on their site yet, it'll be on a little bit later. But it just asks you to review our board and our policies and see if we're doing what they think we should be doing. So that's a pretty easy one, the first three are pretty easy. The fourth one, this year, usually it's only one person on the board, or else myself has to go to class. This year they want all members of the board to have done one online class. So there's a whole bunch of them. When you guys have the SDO website, there's these 5 classes here. They're all on board, and some of them are maybe 90 minutes long. It's probably the longest one.
What's the deadline to get those?
November.
Oh.
So you got a pretty good day. So, and then the last one, board member education. This is probably going to be, well, actually, it's not that hard because they have a board leadership academy, which is a kind of a whole program of maybe like 10 classes over the year, and budget training and all that kind of stuff. So you don't have to complete that, but they want 2 members of the board to enroll in it and then like start on it. So like if you enrolled on it and then you took one and you watched one of these videos, you'd be, one step into the program. And it'd probably take a year, honestly, to get through their board member education program. And I've been watching in their newsletters and stuff, and maybe 2 or 3 people a year accomplish that. It's a lot of time, but anyway, they want us to enroll in it and start working at it. So anyway, by November, we'll hopefully get most of those things done. And I just wanted you guys to see that. And, anyway.
Is the web page here on this thing?
Yeah, that's all right.
No, I'll get it for you. It's sdao.com, and then if you don't have an account, you can sign in and they'll contact you, and you get your own password. We get into anything they got you, and we have it here on the computers too. I think so. Anyway, there's a lot of training available, and this year they're kind of pushing the board of directors to play with it a little bit more. So, and that's all I got.
So, next item on is old business. You talked about the seismic grant status already, website status. What about any grant information?
We got the DFA grant, we got in for reimbursement on that. We have in for all the FEMA grants, are all gone. So the big deal is just the seismic grant right now, going through that.
Okay.
And getting our money back from the DFA. We talked about the other stuff too. Oh, excuse me.
Yep. New business, online budget training. You also talked about that. Well, you kind of covered everything.
So the question that you had, David, with those PowerPoints I got, it tells you those in there. There's some details to it that are kind of tricky and stuff, but if you ever look at them, it'd really help, other than just trying to explain it myself. There's also there's a 100-page budgeting manual in Oregon, And we have one, but I've never, 20-page pamphlet that kind of runs you through the whole process every year, and they update it every year with the changes. So that's not out yet, but it will be out there pretty soon. That's probably the best way to learn about the budget process. It tells you everything that's all written out.
So, the SDAO virtual conference, you talked about that too, going through all that. So I guess we're on to President's report. I don't have much to report other than I apologize for not being here last month.
It's okay.
I was not feeling very good, other issues, but other than that, just keep moving forward, right? Does the director have anything to report?
Any directors?
I don't think
Director's
so.
report?
No directors here.
The director's report, any board member comments? Public comments? We might be shooting for a record. Our next meeting is scheduled March
You don't have
9th.
any comments?
Well, it was a nice day today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Our next meeting is scheduled for March 9th, 2022 at 7 PM. If there's no further comments, we can adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn.
The second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion granted.
I'm good. 20.